Are we finally getting the two incredible new alternate arts for reinforcement of the army? Is the baby goddess finally going to be released just in time for the Fiendsmith engine? And everything else that you need to know about Battles of Legend Terminal Revenge, the next set coming out in 2 weeks in the TCG, let's break it down. Battles of Legend Terminal Revenge, another Battles of Legend set coming out. 5 cards per pack, 4 ultras, 1 secret. It's going to be a pretty shiny set. And we're here to answer the ultimate question. Should you buy Battles of Legend Terminal Revenge? If you do decide to buy it, make sure to check out the link in the description below in tier0games.com. Use code GALZO5 at checkout as always. Now it's time to break down the 4 Terminal World archetypes that are getting support in this set. We have Ritual Beasts, Infernoid, Ice Barrier, and Genex, all original Terminal World archetypes that are getting awesome new support, 4 cards each in this set. And besides that, a lot of other OCG imports, alt arts, and brand new cards that are going to be released in this set. Maybe we're going to have to speculate, and we'll talk about those as well. First of all, starting off with Ritual Beast, this is a fusion archetype based on banishing and returning monsters to the graveyard from banished, normal summoning several times, and it's a very hard to follow and sticky archetypes with a lot of soft ones per turns. First, we have Ritual Beast Inheritance, which is the new continuous spell cards that can just add you Ritual Beasts from the deck to your hand. We also have a new Link 4 with Ritual Beast Ulti, Rei Rao Tauri, which is a Psychic Wind Link 4 monster that prevents tributing from either field, also grants an additional normal summon of a Ritual Beast monster, and can target banish one of your opponent's cards as a quick effect, which is very strong. A new fusion monster that is basically a new Astrolaud type fusion that can be special summoned by banishing the materials once per turn, can protect your Ritual Beasts from targeting, and can bounce itself as cost. Of course, they all do that, and it's very annoying to summon a banished Ritual Beast. And lastly, we have a new Spiritual Beast Tamer, Lara, which grants an additional normal summon, can protect from destruction while it's in the graveyard, and when banished can summon a Ritual Beast directly from the deck. This deck is very graveyard agnostic, so you're going to be seeing this deck ran with Dimension Shifter and, of course, Dimensional Fissure. It's going to be really annoying to play against, and this is probably one of the strongest archetypes out of the set, but yeah, it's pretty cool as well. Infernoid is also getting support, of course, with a new continuous spell called Void Barrier, which can add a banished Infernoid to your hand or special summon another one from the hand. We have Void Blaze Up, that is a new card destruction spell for Infernoids, lets you discard your entire hand, draw a new one while setting up your graveyard with a lot of names. We have a new Link 4, Infernoid Flood. It's a fire monster as well, of course. And this card can negate summons, which is amazing, can banish one card, non-targeting if a card is banished from the graveyard, and of course floats into another Infernoid if destroyed, ignoring their summoning conditions. And then there's a new level 1 fusion monster in Infernoid Evil, which is pretty crazy. A level 1 fusion can banish an Infernoid monster from the graveyard and then set Infernoids equal to that monster's level from the deck to the graveyard, and of course it also floats into a void spell and trap. This card is incredibly strong in setting up your graveyard with a ton of Infernoids. Continuing from that, we have Ice Barrier getting a new continuous trap in Frozen Domain, leading to the Ice Barrier that prevents your opponent from responding to your Ice Barrier effect. We have Mirror Magic Master of the Ice Barrier that can special summon 3 Ice Barrier tokens to extend your combos and of course sync up into big monsters. We have the Swordsman of the Ice Barrier that locks up your opponent's graveyard while you control another Ice Barrier monster, which is an extremely strong floodgate. And of course we have the final boss, Lancia, a new synchro monster that up to twice per turn, once per chain, can special summon an Ice Barrier monster from the deck, graveyard, or extra deck if your opponent special summons, and then floats into another Ice Barrier synchro. Lastly, we have the Genex archetype getting new support, as well as the final archetype getting support from Terminal World. We have a new quick synchro mechanic monster during your opponent's turn in our Genex Turing. We have our Genex Undyne that can turn itself into a tuner by banishing a monster from your graveyard. We have a new Link 1. Everybody likes a Link 1, right? This card is pretty explosive. It can add a Genex from the graveyard on summon directly to your hand, and each time, once per chain, that a card is added to your hand, except by drawing it, you can normal summon an additional Genex, and there are crazy combos summoning all Genex monsters from your deck basically just using this card. Then the final boss is a new Synchro Arms of Genex Return 0. This card is actually seeing play in Dragon Link in the OCG as well, just because it's a generic level 10. We don't have Baron now, so might as well use that. This card can banish monsters from your graveyard to negate a monster effect with the same attribute as the monster you banished to activate this card, once per attribute per turn. This means you can basically have 6 monster negates if your opponent activates 6 different attributes. Then it can also recycle Genex monsters from the graveyard back to the deck to destroy that many spells and traps your opponent controls. So this is the legacy support, but there's other cards, very important ones, that might be even more important than the core releases of the set. Now, none of this currently, as of making this video, is confirmed, but there is a very high chance that these cards are going to be included. Some of them are mentioned. First of all, the only officially mentioned ones are the Sky Striker support, a new Link monster, a new Link 4, and of course, maybe Reinforcement of the Army, Sky Striker alternate art. This is going to be really cool and interesting to see, but new Striker cards, everybody loves those. Now, Moon Goddess of the Closed World, aka Baby Goddess. It's a generic Link 2 Light Fiend monster. Now, what it does basically targets a monster on your opponent's side of the field, and if you Link summon this turn, you can use that monster as well. But this is not exactly why we use this card and want it to be released as soon as possible. The main reason is that this monster is a generic Light Fiend, and in the next core set, Infinite Forbidden, and we're also going to do a video on that, there is a new archetype relying on Light Fiends called Fiendsmith. Now, it has a Link 1, which just requires Light Fiend, so this is basically a generic way of going into that Link 1, and that Fiendsmith Link 1 is a full Fiendsmith combo, which just grants you with a rank 6. That could be Wave King High Caesar, so this card is much needed and very strong. Next we have the Phantom of Yubel. There is a mention in the product text that some legacy archetypes from Phantom Nightmare and Legacy of Destruction are getting support, and Phantom of Yubel is probably that. This was a promo in the latest valuable book, and this card is extremely important to the Yubel strategy. Now, this is, again, sort of like an Astral Out fusion monster that shuffles back a Yubel monster and an effect monster to the deck to summon itself, and it basically is a monster negate. It turns any monster effect your opponent activates into the effect of destroying a Yubel monster from your deck. This will improve the Yubel strategy immensely, and this could also be used as an engine in other decks like Branded. We have a new Dragon Ruler combined Xyz monster, which now with the release of all the Dragon Rulers from the Forbidden and Limited list is very much in tune with the meta. We have a new Fire King Consort Ulcanix, which is a new Fire King monster that when Snake Eye might get hit or will probably get hit in the future, this card turns pure Fire King into an actual competitor, and it's actually seeing a lot of success in the OCG as well. There is new toy support, which in Infinite Forbidden works really well with the Whitewoods archetype. We're going to do a video on that as well, but Whitewoods require sending spells and traps from the field or the hand to the graveyard to activate or to summon, and the toy cards can set themselves, and then you can send them and summon them with their own effect. So there is a lot of synergy there. This is very likely to be released in the set as well. And lastly, Rescue Hedgehog. It's just cute, and I think people want to see that. There are a lot of other cards that we are speculating to be released in this set. If you want to see those, you can check out my Twitter for the full list. And again, if you are picking Battles of Legend Terminal Revenge, make sure to use my code GALZO5 in the description below in tier0games.com. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.